Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the Wars of Napoleon. With me, Nomadic Jam. So this is... I normally am a Twitch streamer when I stream. So this is going to be sort of untrodden ground for me doing this for YouTube. I imagine that it's much different, aside from, instead of people turning up and saying midstream, Jam, you're waffling, crap, shut up. So yeah, I guess I'm going to have to police that myself, and I'm sure that will go really well. If you're wondering what I'm doing at the moment, this is what anyone who plays this, one of the frequent complaints about Geo games is that they are laggy, and it's true, but if you if you scroll through the areas at the beginning, something I probably should have done before I press record, then things load up quicker, as you can see. So hopefully I'm not giving anyone motion sickness. Very good. Right. So, since 1803, Austria has been allied with England and Russia in their third coalition against Napoleon. A tense peace has continued between Austria and France since then, however. Now, in 1805, Austria is ready to act. The interloper, would-be Emperor Napoleon, continues to interfere in Italian and German affairs, where Austria has long-standing interests and territories. Austria awaits the arrival of Russian forces, but it has already positioned powerful armies in the Rhineland and northern Italy in preparation for striking deep into France, whilst Napoleon is still focused on his invasion of England. As you take the reins of Austria's government and military forces, consider whether to stand on the defensive in Germany and Italy or join with your allies to attack France. Make sure you control Milano, Vienna, and Frankfurt. And Munich. Sure, I'll do all of that. So, I recorded something yesterday, which was about 50 minutes of me sort of waffling along whilst, doing the organisations. Unfortunately, Geode is one of these games where my hotkeys don't work. Like my mute, and more importantly, the one that the equals, which now, as you can see behind the curtain, brings up my, well, whatever it is, me. That, if I now scroll and press it, yeah, it doesn't work. So, 50 minutes of me thinking I'm muted and blowing my nose, and having a giant 2D drawing of myself. So that was scratched. So instead you get the abridged version, although I still intend to waffle. Know what you're getting into. So we're Austria. Glorious, glorious Central Power Austria. Honestly, what the hell were they thinking? I miss being Britain with my moat. The moat is kind of useful. I have played against the illustrious XTRG, who is our host for this game. I've also my somewhat lackluster ally. That's a good way of starting. But then again, I suppose he won't. Well, he's not supposed to be watching this. Plumber, which is not what. Let me explain. When I didn't start the Twendle Wars game, I joined in for Alex, who is our British player who dropped out. So when I said lackluster for Russia, I meant that the poor guy had already been basically beaten, or was just on the cusp of it. And so therefore he just got to sit and dwindle away because it's really not that well balanced. I mean, I guess there's reasons for it. You're trying to adhere to a kind of historical, if not timeline, but certainly historical things that happen, which means once your national morale gets to a certain point in Twendle Wars, Nicholas II takes over and then basically just puts your country into a national morale death spiral, which is a bit of a shit, really. So yeah, anyway, let's talk about this one. So this one I get to be Austria, which means we have the no longer lackluster, the magnificent plumber, who will be rushing to my rescue, I hope, because if he doesn't, I'm going to be stuffed. He's to our sort of, well, he's where Russia is, so he's all everywhere to our sort of west and everything. Is there a way of doing this which is a bit more obvious? Well, maybe. Theatres? Owners. There we go. Right, so that's my beloved Austria. Which obviously consists of Bohemia, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Tyrol, Northern Italy, and bits of Poland and everything else. We've got Grimm, the sick man of Europe, who's playing as the Ottomans. I mean, he gets a lot of ground. No railways. Oh. We have got the Kingdom of Sicily, the Papacy, Kingdom of Italy, who is going to be allying with those French dogs, who we're now listening to their music, obviously. Tuscany. Yeah. Spain, who's been played by Sean. Yeah. Marshall. XTRG. Did I give out his address as well? He's playing France. Alex is playing Britain. And then you've got the hodgepodge of, well, what remains of the Holy Roman Empire, Saxony. Strangely enough, I am also the Holy Roman Empire. There are two me's, but I don't actually control the Holy Roman Empire in this. But if you go to the diplomacy screen, look, it's me again. Although as France the First, whereas I'm France the Second, I'm clones. Habsburg. Are they Habsburg? They must be Habsburgs. Habsburg clones. Is there anything more inefficient? But anyway, we have our enemies. Switzerland, Bavaria. I guess Württemberg, but not really. A lot of that would depend on whether I was going to be doing things historically. Which is to say, barreling into Ulm, like beating the Bavarians, which would be fun, don't get me wrong. That's where unhappy General Mack surrendered with his 40,000 men at Ulm after getting surrounded by some speedy French bros. I do not wish that to happen, so I shall be conducting a defensive campaign with my Russian allies, with the intent of, I don't necessarily expect to win, which is, a great opening line, but I want to make the bastard bleed, right? For vengeance and for Austrian honour. If we can beat him bloody as he if he takes the direct route, which I cannot imagine why he wouldn't. The direct route being, through Württemberg and through Bavaria. Bavaria will inevitably join. I'm not too worried about the Bavarians though. I don't know if he gets to control them. I guess if he controls them, I'm more worried about them. If they're the AI, less so. I didn't speak about Prussia. I didn't mention Prussia. Prussia's the Elder Strategist is playing them. It's not someone I haven't played against before. But he seems like a canny operator, which is depressing. Because I need dullards as my opponents on my borders. I've got enough to worry about. So yes, let's finish the thought, which will say if he like the direct route, which is through a Bavaria, which is in favour of him, so therefore he gets supply. So he can basically run supply from Munich here with his level 4 depot, and then to capture Wien. So to force the Treaty of Presburg on me. which he needs to capture Innsbruck, which is here, Wien, and Venice. And I will be losing Venice, Tyrol. I don't think we actually lose Salzburg. Not in this war. That's the next one. That's when we lose Trieste as well. Assuming we lose, right? And I mean, I don't know. I feel like I got punished for not seeing reality in the last game with just the sheer volume of troops. And of course, you know, these games can be dangerous in, you know, rather than historically where eventually the coalition forces caught up, at least in organisation, to the French corps system. In this, obviously, if his generals keep winning, then they're going to keep getting better stats, and some of his generals, Napoleon, obviously, who is, I think it's 777, although maybe 7's max, so maybe he can't get any better. But anyway, it snowballs. So if you're winning, your stats go up. If you're losing, your stats go down, right? So in Two Ended Wars, the Austrians I ended up facing were fresh from a series of victories against the Russians, and so therefore basically outclassed me general-wise. Now, a lot of his generals are sort of middling. I mean, mine are terrible, apart from when they're on the defence. So that's, you know, what we want to try and take advantage of. Anyway, so that's lots of waffling. And I said the abridged version. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the I'm going to waffle forever version. So, this is what I've elected to build this turn. Now, I've agonised over this because a fortress battery, they're very expensive, like 600 money, 120 conscripts, 75 war supply off the top of my head. And they're static, right? And static defence, generally speaking, not good. But I don't like my fortresses falling in the kind of shitty way that they do in this, where you've got like 12,000 men, and because of the way the ranges work, those 12,000 men, because they've got no cannon, do nothing, and then you'll take 12,000 losses and inflict bugger all, like 200 or 300 casualties to the enemy. Whereas if we've got some guns who can engage him, although they're a bit funny about... Oh no, there we go. Funny about being selected. Obviously the combat power is non-existent at the moment. But yeah, range damage 5 to 30. I mean, that is, like, significant. 5 being the physical hits, 30 being the cohesion hits. If we look at, say, the next best thing, our 12-pounders. Yeah. Okay, so the cohesion's actually better, interesting. But the range damage is only 2. So... I mean, there's part of me that feels like I'm made the wrong decision because I've already sent my orders off. Whether, you know, to build this in Linz, but you know, that's a level 4 depot. Like, I'm thinking about how would I do this? And sort of the obvious thing would be to take Salzburg, and then march, and then to take Linz, and then from Linz on to Vienna. Right, just straight down the road. Why be fancy if you've got the numbers? But you know, he's still gonna, if he wants to do that and being within supply. I mean, hence the reasons of taking Salzburg level 2 depot and Linz. Forgive my pronunciations. Yeah, so you do that. So I want this to hopefully take time and cost him casualties, right? Because you can only receive replacements from depots. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how long it takes. Like whether it's going to be instant. You know, because if he takes it. You know, I mean, ideally, if he's stupid, he's not stupid. Then he advances. You know, down this major road from Regensburg, and I get to fight him in the forest hill here with him crossing this river. Now, if we had the core system, we could do March to the Sound of the Guns. He can do that, we can't, right? Not until we've had our military reforms. Mine is not for another 5 years in-game and probably another 5 years out of game. We're hoping to get more turns done, but with 7 people, you know, sorry, more turns done per week, but with 7 people and, you know, everyone's got lives. Honestly, well, you know, outrageous. But yeah, hopefully we'll pick up speed as we get going. So yeah, which means I'd love to hold on, like make him pay for Salzburg as well. You know, because if he advances past it without taking them, you know, even if he's got the military control, I mean that can't be good for his supply. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter actually if he's got the military control. I don't know. Convention says it's bad militaryship, generalship, right? Leaving fortresses in your rear, whilst you advance on Wien. And I assume that he'd want to try and take these things quickly, because it's all a game. Like there are instant victory conditions for certainly the French, as if they take London. I don't know about the Brits if they've got one. If they take Paris, maybe. That would seem easier for the British to do. Not easy, but easier than, you know, vice versa. But otherwise, it's a game of victory points. Let's have a look at our objectives. Most of my objectives are defensive, which doesn't bode well, because that means everyone's going to be kicking lumps out of me. Yeah, often Wien. Oh, glorious Wien. Dubno. Now, we have got a couple of good Turkish ones here. Milano, I mean, I'd love to take Milano, but I've played against the AI. I've hurt him. I haven't stopped him. Now, it was at a higher difficulty level, and the AI get a little bit teleporty. But I have to assume that Marshall is going to build his divisions better. Okay, so I've talked a lot. Let's talk about divisions. Right. We've got the army of Italy currently residing in Trevisa. We've got first a MIT division, possibly? I don't know if it's an I. Anyway, Heinrich von Bellegarde, a 323, one of our best. He's leading a predominantly Hungarian cohort. So this is the structure of my divisions that I'm building, right? So we've got 2 line regiments. Well, sorry, no, 2 line brigades, consisting of 6 line regiments and 2 artillery pieces. I, unfortunately, with my grenadiers, do not get... they do not come with artillery built in, which is a bit shit, but such is life. Now, you haven't seen all the starting forces and how I've completely stripped them bare and then reconstituted them. The opening setup is that the Austrians have got grenadier divisions. I don't want to do that because they've got no artillery support, and if they've got no artillery support, then they get engaged at a range of 6 or possibly even 7. Shut up. And then they have to sit there and endure that until the range of 2, which is when they can fire back. Which is shit, which is a good way of getting lumps blown out of you. So the idea is that because they're, stalwart in close combat, I hope, an assault value of 8 to 10. So yeah, I like the idea of it as well. You've got your line, and then they're backed up with a grenadier unit. And then we've got some Grenzer brigade, which are these chaps here, so our skirmishers. We have a lack of artillery here. Dear. Well, my decision... So this is the knock-on effect, right? My decision to build the fortress guns means I'm not building any artillery for the Italian army yet. Now, the fortress guns and the balloons take 60 days to build, a couple of months. I've got until mid-June, assuming that he doesn't pull the trigger early. If he wants to go to war in winter, though, like, good luck for him. He'll lose half his army in moving them. Although saying that, it's, you know, weather seems quite good then, doesn't it? Yeah, but if he wants to move through the mud, it's just a waste. Just a waste in attrition. Now, obviously, we don't want to get caught flat-footed and be like, oh, it's winter quarters, you know, all safely tucked up in bed whilst the enemy stills a march on us. But, yeah. So, we're doing lots of unpleasant things to the people of Italy and the Tyrol, which is to say requisitions, so give me your shit, so that gives me plus £200,000. We're drafting the citizens of there. Basically, because I don't expect to hold on to this, sort of the logic is, you know, draft it into the ground. But of course, if I do hold on to it, then I'm going to have a completely rebellious, disloyal area, which I then might lose to, you know, the very, like, decisions, demonstrations and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how to. My expectation is not to hold on to it. But if we do, though, anyway, that's, I guess, the decision for tomorrow's me. So yeah, we've got a few generals we didn't need. AI likes its small divisions. Small divisions are not good, unless, you know, you've got no other choice. These guys, I haven't put them in yet because you see the white chevron there. They're still waiting on units now. They can receive replacements if they are in a division, but I don't know. It's easier for me to pass it if I can see it, right? Heinrich von Roos here is a brigade commander. We'll be getting rid of that and making him divisional when he activates, if he activates. But we're under Archduke Karl, and Archduke Karl is the best of them with a 444, which is, you know, fantastic compared to what we've mostly got. This guy's a 333, pretty good. He's a cavalry commander. He will be our cavalry command for the Army of the North, although at the moment he's mainly got light and Uhlans. So yes, if, I mean, there's lots of things that need to be built. I need to build lots of artillery for these guys, but I wouldn't mind having some cuirassiers and, just more dragoons, perhaps. Oh yes, conveniently called the Dragoner Grossherzog. Sorry, Dragoner Grossherzog von Toscana. Who are Uhlans and not dragons or dragoons, so that's fun. The same way that we've got our Huzaren here, who aren't actually hussars. Cheval Léger. So more like dragoons. So what the hell are the chaps with the swords then? These guys. These are dragoons, aren't they? Yeah. I always thought dragoons were the ones who carried carbines. I mean, I guess it varies, right? Not like any of these militaries were consistent. Anyway, it would be, for the purpose of this, it would be nice to have a bit more punch to some of our cavalry. Now, I'm also building infantry and artillery divisions, and I do wonder if I'm going to be punished not for having a cavalry element in there, but I don't know. I think I'd rather have a cavalry division. Now, maybe that's stupid. Or a couple of cavalry divisions. Whereas if I can have the two-line, the grenadier, the skirmishers, and an artillery, that fills up the division, and, you know, it's going to have an extra, so 5 artillery pieces. I mean, that'll be beautiful. It doesn't have to be the 2 12-pounders and the 6-pounder. It can be, I think, 2 6 and 1 4. So yeah, I'm already questioning the logic of building those fortress guns rather than mobile, but I'm just hoping I can do both, right? Okay, so I have returned. Now, hopefully there won't be a 20-minute block in the video. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Professional, right? So yeah, I guess just wondering about whether we should have built those fortress guns or not, but, you know, the die is cast. We've got, we've got some duffers. I mean, he's not terrible, it's just, and to be fair, he is defensive. He's overcautious, which means he only really acts well in friendly territory, so I might make him my fortress commander. We've got another garrison over at Salzburg here, which has got some good units in it, to be honest, I think. Well, they're elites. They're not elites with experience. With some cavalry. Yeah, and some elite grenadiers as well. So I don't... This is the thing. I mean, I'm not going to be moving them yet anyway, because the weather's bloody awful, and very harsh weather is a good way of losing unnecessary hits. To weather, just in marching them to Linz. Whether I find a replacement brigade or division to hold on to it, because I mean, as I said, you know, the idea of delaying, endlessly delaying, or trying to, just means more Russians can come up. Although I assume that Plummer's going to end up being sort of more situated in Bohemia here. I mean, I'd love to be able to send a division, or like an infantry / artillery division and a cavalry division up that way, but you know, all these things which are also, you know, on the one hand necessary, on the other hand are just a diminishing of our main strength, you know. Balloons, obviously we're building balloons because balloons are hecking cool and need no more explanation than that. We've got some Vernix Corps. I love how they're all called corps when they're not. It's just classic, right? You know, some units which are not fully not filled out from their replacements, etc. yet. Yeah, not even remotely. Which is, of course, another thing to worry about, because we've got our replacement list, which starts off with 28 infantry and 4 cavalry. So those are going to disappear pretty goddamn swiftly. So we're hoping for about 19 hits. I talked about this. Never mind. Hoping for about 19 hits. In previous experiments of like leaving everybody outside in the winter, putting everyone indoors and not sorting out their command points, I took between like 32 hits, 30 hits, but getting everyone's command level sorted out and sticking them indoors, I only suffered 19 hits, which is great. Because I do not want... Well, I do not like, I don't think there's much I can do to stop it, my reserve of replacements just getting eaten up by weather attrition. Now, disease is going to happen anyway because we're playing historical, so, I mean, I might just be complaining about something there's nothing I can do about, but the fact that in that experiment there was a difference between 11 hits, you know, or 13 hits, shows there is a right way of doing things. I've added a couple more points to the artillery, because each new element or new chit will cost one of these, but it's, you know, to represent the mobilisation, which is good, because it's a lot more expensive to build infantry brigades straight out the bat, straight out the gate, which we won't be doing. just to add insult to injury, right? I don't get a single bloody admiral, but yet they still let me build flipping fleets. I'm very upset because the Austrian Navy consists of 4 river schooners, or 4 river boats, 2 in Offen, the Sud Donau Flot, sorry, 6 mighty riverine transports. By God, look how amazing they are. Shut up, dog. 6 of them there, and 6 of them in Wien. So I mean, there is something we might be able to do sneaky with them. Maybe rushing a small cavalry division down, or even partisans or something later in the game, down the Danube to try and do something, some kind of depot raid. It's, you know, it'd be nice to be able to do. Probably unlikely, but you never know. Yes, so that's our, and then we've got our actual fleet, which consists of a corvette division, the Bellona, the Guerra, and the Venus, 3 mighty brigs in our corvette division. My God, oh, look at that! That'll get those French dogs running. And the transport division, which is well, it's got a frigate in it. 36 gun light. Oh, look at that, the Comet. Oh. Sorry if you can hear an irritating yappy dog outside. Hopefully you can't. I certainly bloody can. So yeah, anyway, I'm getting distracted again. The real point we were trying to make, which is that the creation of these units, I mean, look at that, conscripts, it's 462. I mean, that is a very large amount of conscripts. 450 for a Jaeger. If we can build some more Jaegers, that would be great. I mean, if we could build more of everything, right? Like standard German line, or even like some reserve. I mean, but the thing is, okay, £190 is not £315, but if I'm going to be spending 450 conscripts on something, then I'm going to be wanting to build an actual line, like a Hungarian or German line infantry brigade. Especially seeing as I would probably want the reserve brigades to be like garrisons rather than the garrisons themselves, because they are. They've got 6 discipline, very little, well, yeah, very little. Oh, so the reserve actually has got like a Landwehr. Which even got even less discipline. Lovely. So I'm talking shit about the garrisons, but they've actually got... Oh, God, don't start. Don't you just love Geode games? Well, you're the one who's playing it, numpty. So they've actually got better discipline initially. But my experience is they just melt. Just fold. And they don't come with artillery, which is sort of the, purpose of building the others. And the grenadiers don't come with any at all, so as much as I'd like to be added, if we have to, add them onto. But this is for the future. Right, so, talking about conscripts, you get some every month on the... I don't think it's the first week, I think it's the second week. That's when you pay your... like an upkeep in conscript companies and in money, hence why we've got 56 there, because it's about 40 odd. Oh, one of the things that... right. So we'll be getting some in that way, but some of the other decisions we've made is drafting across northern Italy, requisitions, roundabout. We're stealing horses from... I say stealing horses. Seizing horses, it's much more polite, from Memmingen and Ludwigshafen. I've got no intention of holding on to these. Like, the units in there, okay, they don't unlock for 6 turns. But I would much rather fall them back to Innsbruck to bulk out the forces there. Innsbruck is a nuisance for me, because the units here are not that good. I would rather take the light artillery away and give it to cavalry divisions. But I don't... Johann is I've changed my army commander. It was Mac. I don't like Mac because he is slow, as much as he's kicking around here somewhere for the moment. Yeah, so he might be a 3-2-2, which is better than a 3-1-2, but the slow mover is just, you know, okay if he's sitting still, but after that first combat, if I'm then retreating, I do not want to be caught straight away. I want to actually have a chance to maybe fall back on other units that I've got, or fall back through the Russians, etc., etc. Now, Johann, as a replacement, is a 3-1-2, but he does have the defensive engineer, which is a 10% defensive fire bonus and +1 extra protection for the stack leader he's in, if they're already entrenched, which they bloody well better be. And then it will apply to all stacks in the region if the list leader is the most highest ranking officer in that region, which I'm hoping that's my secret weapon. Trenches, yeah, there you go. We've got balloons, so hopefully they won't be able to do anything sneaky, like come across without us giving contact, because the rules of how things work are interesting. So normally, if an opponent's stack moves into your territory and they have got no military control there, then their stance, whatever it will be, will change to an offensive stance. Which means they would have to then attack our defensive positions to try and establish defensive control. Now, that's how I know the game to work. Against the AI, last time that didn't happen, and I got very angry about it. Now, whether they played a card, used a cavalry screen, or it was disinformation, or they did something irritating and sneaky that stopped me from being able to detect them, which, I mean, it makes no goddamn sense, right? We've been guarding this river. I mean, I suppose this is a large area, but the army's dug in along the main road. You'd think you'd bloody well notice someone trying to sneak across, especially the preponderance of forces we've got there. Anyway, that didn't happen. That pissed me off. So we're hoping to keep an eye on it through cards, but if we've got the balloons there as well, we'll be able to see everything, right? That's the plan. The balloons will save us. It could have just been some AI chicanery, higher difficulty shenanigans. But yes. Right, what else? Right, so, yeah, we've got, so these chaps here, now they haven't, obviously, they're not fully kitted out yet, but this chap, Hesse Homburg, of the division of the Zuhessen Homburg, which I'm assuming is the chap with the moustache. Now, he's a gifted commander, which is always nice. But he's a cavalryman, and we're going to give him all the cuirassiers and some horse artillery. And so while cuirassiers don't have a particularly high power value according to the game, they do have first shock at 200% and an assault value of 11. So once they're in, so you need the light artillery to deal with opposing artillery and so on and so forth, but whoever they come up against, they should do alright, especially seeing as he is a 434, which is, elite levels for us. Who else have we got here? We got Faust von Schwarzenberg, who has a chair, very good. So he's a good army administrator, so 15% recovery. So what you see at the moment is not what it's going to look like in game terms 6 months' time. I seriously hope it's not 6 months in real time, because that would be upsetting. But yes, this should hopefully all be nicely kitted out by June, with plenty of artillery and the replacements filling up these other line brigades. And then, yeah, the Russians will be here and all nicely dug in as well, and that'll be cool. And then we'll still lose, and then you can sort of just hold your hands up and say, well, you know. Now you might be saying, well, what about the Ottomans? Well, there's not much I can do about the Ottomans. Oh, I should talk about some of the other things, like cards. Development. Before we talk about the Ottomans. Right. So what you have here, so between a mixture of loyalty, I think, unfortunately for us, like our rich areas, like which is Verona. Although Verona's, there's nothing in Verona worthwhile anyway. Sorry, to the Veronese. It doesn't produce anything, is my point. Whereas, so money production, so Venice produces quite a lot. Trieste, which is also on the chopping block for a later war. Wien, which is on the chopping block this time. At least, well, they give it back to us after they've taken it, if they take it. And Ragusa, which is another target down here, which has got absolutely bugger all defending it. I have a lot of country. I need to concentrate my forces, but also there's a lot to worry about. These places are all civilized as well. If we get them up, if we can get their loyalty to 100%, a lot of it's at 75. That'll increase the numbers of money, war supplies, conscript horses, etc. I assume supply as well. And if we can get from civilized up to rich, then that will give us a boost there as well. So sort of those are the targets. Alas, a lot of my best war supply production, which I desperately need. So Prague is already rich and at 100%, so we don't want to touch that. And that's great. But Salzburg's at 20 and is on the front line, right? So as part of me thinks, well, I should try and defend the damn thing. Give it a division with some fortress guns. And okay, it doesn't hold this time round, but then we lose Tyrol and we lose Venice and to Bavaria, or Venice to Italy and Tyrol to Vienna, Bavaria. Sorry, I wish it was staying with Vienna. But I mean, it's this is it. It sucks. It's absolutely. I mean, especially seeing as if you did get that level up to civilized at 51, which would take a while, but you would get much more, and that would be fantastic. Trieste as well. I mean, it's just one of those ones that's like, do I say to hell with it and hope for the best, which never works, but hope for the best and develop them so I can get the best out of them. But am I just then developing them for Marshall, or Marshall's allies, the Italians? I keep saying Marshall, keep saying his name. XTRG. Damn Frenchman. Yeah. So yes, if the Ottomans do decide to come in early, which I'm hoping they won't because they've got a hell of a lot of land to cover, most of their stuff is militia, at least initially. So I'm hoping he'll want to spend his time either dicking around there or worrying about the Russians over here, which is very much, my world's a very small world. You listen to the British player and the French player, the Spanish player talking about the Mediterranean, the Channel, and I know I clicked on the Channel and said Mediterranean. All these places, and then there's me, where my world is northern Italy and southern Germany. That's pretty much it. As for the rest, well, I guess we'll have to worry about that later. Yeah, Lemberg. So Austrian is an Austrian objective town. It's a Russian objective town and a Prussian objective town. So whilst we are going to be having good relations with those chaps, at least for the first war, You know, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, right? Because I think that's what France is hoping for, is that the strain of objectives, accumulation of victory points, which is why it's very interesting, very different to End of Wars. To End of Wars was very sort of clear cut. You know, take Berlin or take Paris, and then there's a winner, an overall winner, right? In this, it's, yeah, like, it could be anybody's game. So, you know, it leaves it open for treachery, but that's also, I'm kind of worried about the scripting involved. Like, if Prussia and me are, for some, whatever reason, I don't want it to be, but for whatever reason, are about to come to blows, and then they're forced in August 1806 to declare war on, on France, because that's what happened historically. I think it's August, I don't know for certain. Then he's probably going to be a little upset about that. Oh, yes, diplomacy. Diplomacy, we basically just sent a bunch of visits to people. Saxony, Hanover, Kingdom of Sicily, Brunswickers, Württembergers, to Russia, some mutual supply. Bunch of, you know, just be friends with everybody, right? Oh, we're nice guys. We're Austrians. We're pretty cool like that. So, yeah. Right, that's a lot of waffling. I could carry on, but I shall carry on next time. So, thank you for joining. Obviously, a word to the wise. No spoilers for either me or for anybody else. You know, I can't imagine anyone would be. This is not exactly an immature game. But, yeah, no running around blabbing about people's plans to other people, because, you know, it will just spoil what we're trying to do here. So, yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, and farewell.